Good evening, and happy Saturday. Perhaps it is Sunday, depending upon where you are on the globe. Trusting all are safe and well, and extending a virtual rose and love from a distance. Tonight's topic is the 90-day rule. And again, greetings for those that are tuned in, will be tuned in, or those who will catch the replay. Again, the 90-day rule. Many of us heard of this first by Steve Harvey and his book that went over the 90-day rule. So I would like to say I will be showing a few clips, doing my commentary, and if anyone would like to leave their comments or perhaps come up and offer their comments or opinions, you are more than welcome. I just ask that you continue to protect the integrity of this platform and any guests that do come up and chat members. Because of the last two incidents, unless I or someone else is aware of who some of those that come up are, I have to let you stay down in the chat if you're in the chat, because I cannot risk someone doing what a gentleman, and I'll use that term loosely, did the very last time. Luckily, no one else saw that but me, and it's unfortunate that I had to see it. So with that, let us begin. Again, welcome. Again, this is fair use. And hopefully everyone will be able to see the screen, because it has been raining and sometimes StreamYard will get hung up. So let us see if this does indeed work. And thus far it has. So, the 90-day rule. According to this quick Google search, and you can do this as well on your own, the 90-day rule suggests that you should wait 3 months after you start dating someone before you have relations with them. Now, of course, that is not the word that's used there, but that is the word that I'm using. While some people find it archaic and old-fashioned, for many, intimate relations initiate bonds that are more complicated to breach. And that is in my description. And those that want to read that, you have the option to do so. Now, I'm going to share the screen again and look at some of the comments, and from there we'll begin. Again, fair use.
The hair serum, which has basically kind of transformed my hair, and I have seen such an amazing difference. And I saw this photo.
The reality is that so many people jump into bed way too fast with someone. And for many, it clouds their judgment, number one. So their ability to really see what's going on.
This
Hey,
is
what's up,
from
everybody?
Stephon
This is
Speaks.
Stephon Laboussiere, aka Stephon Speaks, back today with another video. Dating advice, relationship advice, you name it, dating tips, whatever, life talk. We're going to discuss it. Before I get started into today's topic, please be sure, as always, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, and I want you to vote, as always. Today's vote is, do you agree with Steve Harvey's 90-day rule? Yes or no? Vote below in the comments. Do you believe in Steve Harvey's 90-day rule? Do you think women should implement that? Now, that's what we're talking about today. Now, I know this is kind of an old subject matter, but it was brought up to me recently, asking me, how did I feel about the 90-day rule? Should women wait that long? And so I figured, you know what? I'm going to do a video, and we're going to discuss this. Now, before I get into specifically about the 90-day rule, let me give this disclaimer. I do think that what is best is for us to wait till marriage. I cannot call myself a man of God and not encourage that principle.
Okay, that is a brief snippet from Stephon Speaks. And again, fair use. You can go back and check out the entire video, and I will leave that. Hey there, member Empress Goddess, and your thoughts on what Stephon says, that as a man of God, and again, we all have different views on when it comes to being spiritual or religious. And I'm not going to delve too much in that, but according to that particular part of the video, he stated that his feeling is that one should wait before marriage. So I put a poll in, and so far, Held to the Nah is winning exponentially. So for those that are here and those that may catch the replay, please feel free to leave in the comments as to if you think, number one, that this 90-day rule has any credence to it, and if those should wait. And also, to throw into the paradigm, if you think that age has any bearing on this as well. Next video. Again, fair use. And hopefully everyone should be able to see the screen. And
when you wash your body, do you use a moldy loofah, a dirty washcloth, or you're that guy that just uses their hands while only scrubbing your pits and privates? I'm talking to you.
Now, I've been saying this for 10 years, and I'm gonna keep saying it. You should withhold your benefit. We're gonna call it a benefit from a man that you first meet for 90 days. Now, many women say to me, but Steve, if I do that, I'll never find a man. Well, today, I'm gonna prove once and for all that the 90-day rule really does work. But first, I believe I have another challenger here. So please welcome Shalise. So Shalise, what's your question?
So actually about the time that your book came out, I was seriously dating someone. I was still a virgin. I was planning on waiting till marriage. He wasn't a virgin, but he was also religious. So he was like, okay, let's do this together. And then he came to me and he said, I've cheated on you with 2 separate women. They were just sluts, but I wanted to do that because I needed sex and I didn't want to corrupt you. And I was like, oh, how sweet of you.
Okay, now that was a clippet from Steve Harvey. And you heard Miss Shalise, who said that she met someone, they were into each other. However, he decided to step out, if you will, with 2 women that he called the S word because he needed that benefit as Steve Harvey said, and you saw her expression. So Empress says, I didn't with my 2 husbands. And hello there, MG707. Again, the link is there. Anyone who may chime in. But thank you, Miss Empress. So you said that you didn't with your 2 husbands. Okay, next. Another quick video, which is fair use.
You know, folks, in my new expanded edition of Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, I go a little deeper to help women put my principles into practice. For example, many of you know my 90-day rule. It's kind of a timeline for relationships to develop without complicating things by giving up the cookie, see. Well, many of you have asked, Steve, what should I be doing during that time, the 90-day time? Well, the expanded book features a section with a 3-month action plan on how women can connect with a guy while waiting. Keyword, waiting. So get out a pen and paper because it's all about making the first 90 days count. Okay.
Okay. According to that snippet from Steve Harvey, his ideal or principle behind that is have the man wait. And again, this is coming from a spiritual, absolutely MG707, who says it's 2023 now, people. And that's a good point. However, some people believe in the old-fashioned way to wait, and they weigh a lot of your value and worth to your body and your temple. So with that, and Empress is speaking to MG 707. Thank you both for your comments. And I'll share one more screen and give my commentary. And those that would like, you're welcome as well. MG707 is laughing. And once I give my commentary, which comes with the story, you may be laughing more. And again, this is fair use. And this comes from The Praying Woman. And it's a short article. However, it's from a different angle. Again, from The Praying Woman. And briefly, you can see, I started talking to this guy last November. We decided that we should continue to get to know each other. I waited the 90 days, as Steve Harvey said, and then took it to the next level. He was very respectful to this. Well, as we continued to hang out, it seemed to be nothing but, I'll just say, benefit, benefit, benefit. Months still passing since November. I asked, could we make time for other things? He kept saying that his schedule was so busy that he didn't have time for a lot of things. Well, I guess he had time for the benefit, benefit, benefit. And further, it states he would wait until after graduation or the summer. Well, both of those passed, still no date or nothing. So with that, she and he waited, and after the benefit was completed, according to her words, and again, I'm only going by what was written, he had no time to do anything else. And I can only imagine her disdain and disappointment, which brings me back to this 90-day rule, because many believe that it works. And a lot of those that are believers, and you can find in many of the comments of these videos that they wholeheartedly agree. So, MG707, you beat me to the punch. And I believe in being transparent. So with that, I'm going to say back in the 90s, I met a Christian gentleman, very attractive. He gave off Rick Fox, who was once married to the actress and first African-American Miss America, Vanessa Williams. So he was extremely attractive, chiseled chest, everything, but stood strongly on his beliefs, and I did at that time. We would talk, we would go out. There was no intimacy whatsoever. Now, he did have some issues as far as having to raise a special needs sister, in addition to other issues as far as the family was concerned. His brother had some, I'll just say, demons that he was fighting with. So he was basically the backbone of the family. Outside of work, there wasn't a lot of time he had to basically enjoy his life, because he had the responsibility of taking care of his sister, again, with special needs. So we had this conversation, and I'll just say maybe 120 days, and it may have been longer, but I'll just give it a cap of 120 days. His sister, who was sweet, went on a weekend retreat, and a lot of these services will allow that. So I'll just say the 90-day rule was in effect, and honestly, as I said, it was more like 120 days. If I could find Steve Harvey, he would have some explaining to do. Hey, writer, because with the physical appearance, the ambition, extremely articulate, and ambitious, empathetic, caring, loving. After the 90-day rule was actually tested, and keep in mind, I was young, and the only contact we had prior to was a quote-unquote church hug, where after you finish greeting one another, or when you're saying goodbye, you just give a slight hug. I mean, it's a term of endearment, but that happens, so I didn't know. I'll just say that. After, as they say, the morning after, I didn't say it out loud, but this was my feeling.
What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis?
So after all of those months, and it had to be, it was 120 days. It was over 3 months. As MG 707 said, imagine you wait until marriage and the intimacy is trash. Well, MG 707, the intimacy wasn't the trash. Hey, writer, that wasn't trash, however. And I really do not mean to sound petty at all. But again, this was back in the 90s. I was much younger. I'll put it to you that way. And my thought process at that time is, if you are looking like that and you are built like that, you should have the entire package. But part of that package was missing. And when I tell you, that was, and again, I don't want to sound petty. I was younger at the time, and I was just younger at the time. I couldn't believe it. And we continued to be friends. But that never happened again. Thank goodness that we did not get married, because for me, at that time, as far as that aspect is concerned, I would not have been happy. And it's funny because when we would go out or go on walks or go out eating, there would be waitresses and other women who would turn and look. And I'm like, okay, he's got it going on. But they didn't know what I knew. Maybe someone else did, because I was also wondering why someone so sweet and kind wasn't in a relationship at the time. And again, this man truly into his beliefs, but we all slip. And I can say, I wish I hadn't slipped. So, that's my Usher moment. And writer says, how can you put a set time on when to have relations or intimacy? It should just happen naturally. There are no rules. Plus, you know right from the jump if you're physically attracted to the person, speaking in general. And many hold that same sentiment. And Empress Spiritual says, well, damn. Empress, when I left, I said more than that. Trust and believe. But I'm going to keep this up for a bit. If anyone else has anything to add to what writer says, how can you put a set time on when to have relations or intimacy? It should just happen naturally. There are no rules. Plus, you know right from the jump if you're physically attracted to the person. Now, that is true. You do know if you're physically attracted. However, I believe the premise from this quote-unquote 90-day rule is, don't laugh. Do not laugh, spiritual. This is a true story. And I've said before, I am extremely transparent. And I don't mind sharing. Now, I'm not going to share every little detail. No pun intended. I repeat, I will not share every little detail. However, that's enough for you all to get the gist of my experience with waiting over the 90 days and back up to what MG 707 said. Imagine if you wait until marriage and the intimacy is trash. Again, there is no marriage, and that was a blessing in disguise. But writer, and I'm not sure if you saw the videos, I'll try to bring them back up. Let me get these ads out. Okay, fair use. And hopefully, writer, you will comment on this. Oh, no problem. We're getting ready to go over this video, and this is from Stefan Speaks.
Disclaimer. I do think that what is best is for us to wait till marriage. I cannot call myself a man of God and not encourage that principle, that biblical principle of waiting till marriage. I do think that if people could wait, that would be the best thing. I know there's people who would argue against it, and I promise you I will do a video about waiting, the benefits, the downfalls, whatever. But I will say that I do believe that is the best course of action for everyone. However, with that said, I completely understand the reality that most people are not waiting till marriage. And so this is not, I ain't judging, I'm not looking down, because I've slipped up many times in my life before. And so we're gonna talk about this within the context of not waiting till marriage. So if anyone says, oh, you should be just telling them to wait till marriage, I get that. I don't necessarily agree with, all right? Giving yourself a specific time frame doesn't really answer or solve the real underlying issues of being intimate way too soon. So for example, if you say I'm gonna wait 90 days, but in 90 days, you've been dating this guy, and let's say y'all been out 3 times and you guys talk every so often, that may not have been enough time to make sure you guys want the same things, you guys share values, you guys are genuinely interested and have a connection with each other. So if you have not truly answered those questions within the 90 days, then the 90 days is too soon still. It still isn't time to move forward, all right? However, if someone else, again, within the context of not waiting till marriage, if someone else is dating a guy, and let's say in 2 weeks, you guys have been talking consistently, you've gone out multiple times, you dive deeper into each other, like those 2 individuals may know each other better in 2 weeks than someone else knew someone else in 90 days, all right? And in those 2 weeks, you guys may have already confirmed that you guys want a serious relationship with each other, you guys are on the same page. So in that sense, time does not dictate the quality of the relationship. Time does not dictate whether you will know who this person is. It's about communication. It's about asking the deeper questions. It's about trusting your spirit, your intuition.
Okay, so writers, Empress, MG707, and anyone else, your thoughts on what you just heard from Stefan Speaks and MG707 says, it ain't about the size of the boat, it's the motion. I'm the ocean. I beg to differ, MG 707, because some boats shouldn't be in any body of water, and I'll just leave it as that. I'm trying to keep it cute and classy. But as far as I'm concerned and my experience, that was a dinghy. And I'll leave it there. And I know you're joking. I wasn't joking, though. I wasn't joking at all. Ryder says, I have to agree with that, brother said. I don't know what that those emojis are, Empress, but again, this was in the early 90s. I was much younger, and again, I'm assuming on the outside, you have everything. I mean, just gorgeous, built, articulate, I mean, the entire package. Well, almost. And for me at that time, this is just for me, that was a problem. I'm sorry. Coughing. Oh, my goodness. And Ryder says, he wasn't biased or judgmental. He spoke with logic and not emotion. Absolutely. So, again, I'm going to leave this one more time and I will continue on. And I'll go back to finish up the rest of the video. Again, fair use. Hopefully everyone can see this. And again, this is from Stefan Speaks.
But here is the grand rule that I give women, once again, who are not trying to wait till marriage, who are going to have intimacy within, the dating dynamic. What I always tell women is, do not be intimate until you are comfortable with what's going to happen next. What I mean by that is this. Many women are waiting, or when they finally decide to jump into bed with this man, they're doing so with the belief or the hope or desire that this is going to now get them a relationship, or this is going to make this man like her more, or this is somehow going to solidify things or whatever, keep him around, whatever the case may be. And so then when they have that intimate moment and the next day he doesn't call, now you feel some kind of way. Or a week after, he's gone. Or it turns out, okay, maybe the intimacy wasn't even that great, and now it's like he's like, I'm out. I'm not going to do this anymore. Either way, you are now devastated. You are now possibly damaged because you got intimate for those reasons. If you're going to be intimate, do it because you are completely comfortable. Do it because you are completely okay that even if this goes left, I'm good because I did what I wanted to do. I was okay with it. I was comfortable. I was ready.
Okay, your thoughts on that? Okay, Ryder is saying, I can't see anyone's message. You mean on the stream? Or on that video? I'm just bringing home some points from Stefan. And I'll go ahead and end his thought. Again, this is fair use. And this is from Stefan Speaks.
It can accelerate the attachment and unhealthy attachment to that individual. So I do believe when Steve Harvey says wait 90 days, the premise is right. Waiting is good. Giving yourself some time is good, but it's less about the time and it's more about doing the work, doing your due diligence. And if you've done that and you've accomplished that and you know that we are on the same page, or again, you have gotten to a place where you are truly comfortable, then that is your choice. So I hope that sheds some light on how I've.
Okay, and We're going to go through some of these comments. And the first one, no, no, no. Speaking for myself, having relations before marriage has left me with depression, low self-esteem, anger, and being a single mom of 2. I'll repeat that again for those who may be driving or just listening. One of the comments from this particular video from Stefan Speaks states, no, no, no. Speaking for myself, having relations before marriage has left me with depression, low self-esteem, anger, and being a single mom of 2. I have been abstinent for a year and a month, and I feel better. My journey to heal is great so far. Then we have the next. Stefan, you hit it on the nail, bro. It's not about the time. It's about connection and making sure we in it to win it. But 90 days is easy. So, gentlemen in the chat and ladies, your thoughts on this particular statement. 90 days is easy. That's old school dating. Wait till marriage, God's school of dating. And go through a couple more comments. And I know my worth. And for me, celibacy is the way I decided to go and have been since 2015. Thank you, Jesus. And another comment, women should wait, period. Stop having relations before he has shown consistency. Again, women should wait, period. Stop having relations before he has shown consistency. And last one, I've said this before and I am going to say it again. I've cut ties with my boy toys and stayed celibate until I found a committed relationship. I found my man in doing so, and it took months to find him, but I did it and it works. I encourage everyone to stay celibate until you find what you're looking for, and in the meantime, take care of your needs. So, no problem. Okay, are you able to see them now, writers? I'm not sure why you're not. Hold on. Let me go ahead and post them. Let me know if you can see these. And again, welcome to those that have come in. And Empress says, yes, I agree with that part. MG707 says, I was ordering food. Empress says, nah. And Empress also says, right, it's a choice. Right, are you able to see the comments now? And he states, the intimacy before marriage has a lot also that is based on religion and one's belief. I agree with that. If you are both Christian, then you will wait for marriage. Writer, I'm not sure if you heard my usher moment, but I am, and so was that gentleman. However, we didn't wait. And for me at that time, being at the age I was and my expectations, we had a moment which was well over the 90 days. And I am so glad I did not enter into a marriage. And that wasn't even, I'll just say this, I'm glad we did not enter into a marriage, because with everything physical. And that's something I want to talk about. As I said, he gave the Rick Fox vibes, extremely well built, well, on the outside, very kind, very sweet, into the word, caring for his special needs sister, trying to cope with a brother who was fighting demons, and a lot of weight on his shoulders, but outside of that, just close to perfect to me as you could get, except for the intimacy. And the intimacy, as I mentioned earlier, wasn't the problem. The anatomy was. So, the writer finishes up with, but if one is Christian and the other is not, it might not work. So, look at the comments that we saw. You could see a mixed bag, and I'll put up a few more to gauge you all's feelings on those. Again, fair use. So, I think this should depend on both people. You've got to be both ready emotionally and spiritually. The next comment. First time I had relations, I was 26, and it was my wedding night. The relationship ended up being abusive, and the intimacy was not enjoyable. In parentheses, she writes, I honestly didn't enjoy it even before the relationship went bad. We divorced after just a little over a year. I'm not saying my story is the norm, but these things happen, and it was traumatizing, disappointing. And there's more to it, but this is the gist of it, and I'll read this again for those who may be listening in. The first time I had intimacy, I was 26, and it was my wedding night. The relationship ended up being abusive, and the intimacy was not enjoyable. I honestly didn't enjoy it even before the relationship went bad. I hear you, sister. We divorced after just a little over a year. I'm not saying my story is the norm, but these things happen, and it was traumatizing and disappointing. I'll read a couple more. You all can chime in with your thoughts. This is a good one from JW7823. I'm convinced that men will leave a girlfriend of 4 years and marry another woman within 6 months if she's wifey material. So chat, what is wifey material? And this is this comment right here. And I'll read it again. I'm convinced that men will leave a girlfriend of 4 years and marry another woman within 6 months if she's wifey material. Again, the next question I have for you all is, what is wifey material? I've had 2 friends who did this, and I've seen it firsthand. Suggestion from a guy here. Women, if you're giving the guy husband benefits, Coach D has said this, and he's not your husband, why would he marry you? It's no reason because you're not A, and he continues on. But this is the meat and potatoes of it. So, those are a couple of comments. You all can sink your teeth into it. Hey there, Bronze Sweat, Power God, how are you? Okay, good. So, what is wifey material? And for the comment that I read about the young lady who waited and did everything according to what the beliefs were. However, the relationship ended up being abusive and they divorced a little over a year. Your thoughts on that? And again, for the gentlemen and ladies, from your perspective, what is wifey material? And writer Prophet says, let's be honest. Also, in today's society, marriage is a business agreement. You can give your heart and soul to God as one. When you sign that paperwork, you're now married to the government. I will read that again and again. Salute to you, Ron's Black Power God. Did MHB get that tent going? I'm going to have to go back and look. But he was so excited. Again, writer says, let's be honest. Also, in today's society, marriage is a business agreement. You can give your heart and soul to God as one, but when you sign that paperwork, you're now married to the government. Writer, that is a good comment. And if you get the opportunity, can you elaborate on being married to the government? And Empress, God is spiritual. A member here says, that's why he was so kind. I'm going to have to read these to myself before I put them. Empress says, that is why he was so kind and sweet. He had to make up for what he was lacking in the bedroom. Empress, it wasn't the bedroom that was lacking. But thank you. And you're right on the money. Again, salutes to you, Bronze Black Power God. Okay, good. You're able to see that, writer. And Empress says, today's generation really don't believe in marriage. That is something that we discussed the other night. And I guess the room could be split on that. Maybe with more percentage of believing in today's generation don't believe in marriage. Then again, can we throw in demographics, perhaps? Could we throw in education as a factor? And belief systems and finances, or the ambition and ability to achieve finances. Next, we have Empress stating, oh, she's talking to Bronze. And writer says, marriage is not like your grandparents' days. Absolutely. And we've discussed this as well. It isn't. So, because it's not like grandparents' days, what should those coming up or in their 50s believe? I've met several late 40s, 50s that have been married once or twice, and they don't want to go through perhaps what they experienced in their marriage. They may have met a very good woman, but the apprehension because of what they've experienced before may be just enough where they're not willing to give that chance. As far as the young people coming up, as those in the chat have mentioned, from what they've seen and what they hear, is it even worth it? And Empress says, that's a fact. Hold on, let me get this in. That's a fact. It's a lot of people's belief. Writer says, I'm not old, but I think I'm wise enough to understand the workings of today's society and how their values don't fall in line with their actions. And then he says, but, so you may be typing more. So I'll read this comment again. I'm not old, but I think I'm wise enough to understand the workings of today's society and how their values don't fall in line with their action. So, what values? And how do they not fall in line with their action? Values as far as waiting, getting to know one another. But first and foremost, knowing yourself, setting boundaries, and realistic expectations. And the C word, compromise. What are you willing to compromise? Because we all know that none of us are perfect. And even with that guy who, to me, on the outside and through conversation and personality, was close enough, at least at that time, and through my lens at that time, was perfect. But everything was not. And for many, and we've had this conversation before, certain things are extremely important in relationships. And if you're not bonding, and I do realize that I'm older, that there are things that can be modified naturally, or there are plenty of people you can go to if you're having issues that may not have been available back in those times. Hey there, good morning to you. But as I said, back during that time, those things weren't available, and it wasn't even up for discussion. You can call it one and done as far as that aspect. But again, we remained friends, but that, oh no. Nope, that was enough. And Empress says, because a lot of this generation is not very religious. Empress also says, right, but after my awakening, I started to see things a little different. It's about, oh my goodness, she used the R word. Reciprocity. To me nowadays, yes, there are many, Empress, they don't understand what it means, nor do I think, and this is my opinion, care to reciprocate anything, even when it comes to a simple returning of a phone call or a text. And yes, I understand people get busy and things come up, but I'm a stickler on certain things. maybe a little bit anal, but again, I'm transparent. I feel as though if you start off a certain way, meaning you're texting and you're keeping that communication going, it should remain consistent. In other words, my mom used to say, a new broom sweeps clean. You show your best in the beginning, and after the novelty wears off, then those behaviors wear off, and it leads one to believe. Were you being sincere? Or is this a foreshadowing of what's to come? Rita says, value of what it takes to be in a marriage. Sadly, people don't take their vows seriously. I feel like when you rush into marriage and you both are not on the same mindset, then it won't last. I'll repeat that again. Excellent point. Value of what it takes to be in a marriage. Sadly, people don't take their vows seriously. I feel like when you rush into a marriage and you both are not on the same mindset, it won't last. Empress says, exactly, Rita. And Rita says, Empress, that's why marriage is on the decline. Do you have any statistics, Rita, on that? I believe the last time I checked, and again, I'm not sure what demographic or if it's general, that the rate might be 51%. I'll have to check that. And Empress says it's about balance, equal give and take, especially in a marriage. Well, you know, I've spoken about my situation, especially when it comes to the bedroom. And I'm glad you brought that up, Empress. You may not want to come up. You're welcome if you'd like, but can you put in the chat your experience that you spoke about, because others may not have remembered it? I believe I know what you're speaking about, but please feel free to put it in the comment section and I will pin it and we will go forward from there. And thank you for everyone that is tuned in. But if Empress is talking about what I believe she's talking about, this is very interesting, extremely adult, but this is adult conversation. Nothing dirty nor ratchet about it at all. It's about conversation, about relationships, how we interact, expectations perhaps. One or more putting unrealistic expectations on another. The importance of having a belief system, standards, and choices. So while I wait for Empress, I'll look to see if there are any stats. Empress, you may have to hop up on here and, oh no, look who's flown in. Welcome, Blackbird McKnight. But Empress, and I thought that's what you were talking about. So I'm going to star that. Welcome, Blackbird McKnight. How are you? And Ryder says, this might sound crazy, but I usually don't go by statistics. See, Blackbird, we're talking about something completely different. Thank you for your comment, but we're talking about something completely different. But welcome, and hope you're doing well. Writer says, this might sound crazy, but I usually don't go by statistics because it could be easily manipulated to fit a narrative. I guess I'm just judging people's action I see on social media, etc. Yes, I am too, but I wanted to have this and because it's a rainy night and I'm up doing this. And Empress is speaking to Blackbird. Blackbird says, I know it was a metaphor. So, no, it was a slick shot. And Blackbird says, the 90-day rule is trash. Now, Empress has stated, and for you gentlemen that are in the chat or who may catch this later, Empress has opened up a proverbial can of worms. And I would love to have you comment on what is on the screen. Again, this is an adult conversation. However, it's clean and it's just a conversation. Empress states, as far as it relates to reciprocating, when one wants oral and not willing to reciprocate. Any thoughts, comments, concerns on that? Yes, that was a slick shot, but I know you well enough by now, Blackbird. So, your thoughts on the comment from Empress? And as I wait to see if anyone is brave enough to touch on that subject, I'll put my mic on mute and see what comes in the comments, if anything. Thank you, Empress, for sharing that. And I'm also very curious as to how that turned out. Was it just a one-time issue or something that had to be worked out, or it didn't work out? And again, thank you for participating and sharing that detail. And let's see where this goes. Blackbird says, oh Lord. See, Blackbird, you have a lot of trash to talk, but let's see. Cat got your tongue on that one. So I'll put this back up again, and this is from my member, Empress. Oh, okay. Well, Empress says it's still an issue. So I don't think we really spoke on it before. And if you'd like, and you don't have to. And I just want to make sure that I choose my words properly. Is it an issue for you or significant other? And what is being done? You should be able to, writer. Hold on, I'll put it again. And it might be, well, no, because Coach D often gets on through his phone. So try again, and we'll see. And Empress says, that's why I'm moving in silence. Uh-oh. Empress, that link is there for you too. You're typing, but again, if you're not comfortable, I get it, but you're saying that is why. Ooh, more Usher moments. So, Empress says, that's why I had an affair. Had. Past tense. Still occurring. And is it because of the lack of, or because there was no reciprocation? And I'll see if writer is able to connect. Let me go back up. It says, when StreamYard says I can't connect because of security settings, is that on my phone? It may be, writer. I'm not sure. I'm gonna leave my email and I will send. That's fine, Empress. Your comments are fine. You can go from there. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Writers, if you want, try to email me. And I'll try to send the code to your phone or email. Maybe you can connect that way. Yeah, little birdie got quiet. And, oh, okay, you've got ears listening. Gotcha. Wrong, Code. I understand exactly what you mean. So, we have branched off into Miss Empress, who stated, when one wants oral and not willing to participate, and Empress continues with, it's still an issue, and continues with, that is why I'm moving in silence, and also that is why I had an affair, and she can't speak on it right now because ears are listening. That's the reason then. Work phones may have a firewall up, so you're gonna have to get to your personal phone if you have it. So, Miss Empress just dropped a bomb. So what do you all, gentlemen, feel about that? And I'll pin that comment again. And again, thank you for tuning in. Sunashki, Cotwall Vlogs, Empress, Ryder, Blackbird Night, MG707, came in earlier and added a little bit of comic relief. Yes, we're talking about 90-day rule and some of the experiences people have had. Absolutely. Inquiring minds want to know. I would like to know from the gentleman how you all feel about that. Yes, it has. Yes, it has, Blackbird. And I'll put this question out. How long should one tolerate if one does not reciprocate? Or I'll just leave it at that. And it is in the comment section. I typed it. How long should one tolerate a partner not willing to reciprocate? And your comment you can place in the chat if you're comfortable with leaving them. Empress says, I'm fed up. So we will look at another quick video. Again, fair use, and this is from Girl Chat. And before I do that, let me put up Ryder, who says, I can't really put a time frame, but it has to be within reason. So again, fair use, and this is from Girl Chat.
Co-host today. She's as sweet as she is absolutely beautiful. From Love and Hip Hop Miami, it's Amara La Negra. I have to say, it's fun having another Latina here. We be talking Spanish on the side. Jeannie be understanding. Yes, and be acting like she understands.
Yo entiendo.
I entiendo. Well, happy Friday. I'm out. Okay. Have you ever enjoyed a fry-yay?
A fry-yay?
Yeah, you know what that is?
What's a fry-yay?
I'm so excited about something that I'm super proud of. Today, my husband Israel is releasing his new single. It is called
Okay, I don't want to hear that.
Music EP. There's a whole bunch of awesome things coming out of Marani.
Well, you know,
Congratulations.
something else I want to talk to you about, because you're someone who's very active on social media,
Yes.
which I love. You also like to have girl chat with your fans.
Yes.
And recently you posted something where you asked, are you the only girl still left that believes in the 90-day rule? So why don't you explain to everyone what is the 90-day rule?
Well, nothing. It basically means that when you meet a guy, you wait 90 days before you give up your cookie, basically.
Okay.
So it gives you some time to really get to know the guy, to see if he sticks around. And that means absolutely nothing. Don't even play around, nothing.
What a concept.
Okay. And then you just, hang out, go to the movies, and
And what did your posting find? Like, what were your...
A lot of girls were saying that it actually doesn't matter, which is kind of weird because I thought that the girls would be like, yeah. Some guys said the same thing. It was kind of 50-50. Some people feel as if it doesn't matter.
Why did you decide to start doing the 90-day rule in general?
Well, I've said it in the past. I've been celibate since October, and I just want to, you know what I'm saying? Keep it, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody touching it. Till I find somebody that I think is worthy of having. Whoa. I'm just holding on to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not holding it to marriage or anything.
Yeah, right.
Pero just for a little bit, I think it's kind of good because then if you're only there to get it and bounce, it gives you some time to really see, However, I did see people that were saying when they were hashtagging me that guys will wait up to 4 years to get the cookie and still bounce.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Yes.
What do you mean?
So, your thoughts on that? The young lady said, some men, and again, these were just her opinions. And if you look at the comments from the other video that I showed, again, this is fair use, that some guys will wait longer than quote unquote 90-day rule and still bounce. So, with that perspective, is this 90-day rule worth it, or does it really depend on the individual, past experiences, observations? Your thoughts. And I already put that up from Ryder. And Empress says, I'm fed up. So, being fed up, Empress. And again, feel free to type your comment in the chat. Are you going to, okay. Empress says, it's an individual thing. This is true. It is absolutely an individual thing. But being fed up, is that something that you plan on? I know you mentioned earlier, moving in silence, that you're praying that it changes, or are you planning in your head to move on? Because where I am at this time, I'm in a good place. However, if I decide to go outside of what I've been practicing since 2018, I don't know if I would follow the 90-day rule, to be quite honest. Because number one, I don't want to waste my time or have it wasted. But at the same time, I do not want to make some of the same mistakes that I've made in the past. Ryder says, that's Ryder says, that's BS. Feminist talking points. Okay, let me read this clearly. Ryder says, that's BS. Feminist talking points. You really think a guy is going to be dropping money, taking you out without the intention of getting anything in return? We need to stop being delusional. I will read that again. That BS, feminist talking points. You really think a guy is going to be dropping money, taking you out without the intention of not getting anything in return? We need to stop being delusional. Empress says planning, and she's giving you the 100s. Writer. So back to writer. Let me start this. Anything. Are you speaking of the benefit specifically, or are there other factors that you're speaking with? And if that's the case, going back to the old days, which many think are archaic, what happened to courting? Has that gone extinct? Does anyone court anymore or believe in courting? And that doesn't just go for men, but for women as well. Because to be honest, in these days and times, some things may be harder for some gentlemen. They may be planning business adventures where they can prepare and plan for that future for a wife, and if children are in their thoughts and future as well. I think there's an entire dynamic, but again, I am not a dating or relationship coach or any of those things. This is just a conversation. I can speak on some of my experiences in the past, and this is just to gauge some of you all's thoughts on this quote-unquote 90-day rule when it comes to dating and ultimately those that would like to be married. And Empress says, writer speaking facts. Writer says, thanks, Empress. And you're welcome. I respect real. Writer. Little blackbird got quiet. So I'm going back to writer's comment. And what about those, writer, who may believe that there are some men who will drop money, as you say, without getting the intention or without the intention of getting anything in return? Do you believe that there are men who will treat women, who will shower women with things without the intention and with the mindset of, if it's meant to be, it'll be. I'm doing this because I want to, and there are no expectations in return. Because at the end of your comment is, we need to stop being delusional. So for those men that are doing this, and I do believe there are some, as a matter of fact, I know there are, not a lot, but there's some out there. Are they delusional? Your thoughts on that? And Empress says, yeah, they did. Writer says, this is the reality. Revolution happens in every aspect of life, also with relationships. Back in the day, a woman would appreciate a man, not for his finances, but for his heart. Absolutely. Now, I do agree with that. Yes, Empress. There are some in the bushes. There were a lot in the bushes with the manosphere, but it's all good. And thank you. My beautiful number. And writer says, today's generation thinks in the opposite. And again, I asked this question earlier. Do you believe it is? Well, he said today's generation, but you have a lot of people, a lot of men, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I stand on it. You have men in their 40s and 50s and have that mindset. So, I'm not wanting to be the voice of dissent, but for this particular aspect, just a little. I'm not going to put all of the onus on today's generation, because as I said earlier, there are a lot of older gentlemen that have gone through divorce, their pockets being hit. Perhaps they are in a place of low self-esteem and their trust has been completely obliterated because of previous relationships. Then you may have someone who is absolutely perfect for them, but they may subsequently get the fuzzy part of the lollipop because of that man's hurt. That's not today's generation. These are older people. So again, it may not be a large population of those that exist, but for those that do, your thoughts on that? The writer is stating, the men that are doing it are, See, I said I would be reading these before I put them up. You got me, writer. So I can't take it down now. It's up. So let's talk about it. The men that are doing it are weak beta males who eventually, depending upon that woman, will eventually lose respect for him. A weak man will always get taken advantage of. So with that, writer, are you saying, hey there, Sanju, how are you? Welcome. Are you saying, because I do not want to speak for you, and I'll put it in the chat. Okay, Sanju, we all see you. And thank you for joining. Do you believe that good guys and good women come in last? And I'll type that in and get your thoughts on that. Okay. Back to the comments. Oh, okay. Well, welcome from India, Sanjay. Thank you so much for joining. Empress says, I've come to the realization that everyone is not meant to be together. We put ourselves together. God didn't. Boom. That's poignant. Again, I've come to the realization that everyone is not meant to be together. We put ourselves together. God didn't. We all have a soulmate, and we find each other. Then what God has joined together. I'm gonna star that. Thank you, Empress, for that. And she continues with, let no one put us under. Sanjay is greeting everyone again. Writer says, we can't put together. A good guy can do fine, but women like a guy that's good, but also rough around the edges. See, you had me about to go out and start rapping MC Light's Roughneck, but I'm not going to do that, at least not today. Rough around the edges. She wants to know he wears the pants. Masculine. Well, writer, what about those men, or men's, as some people will say, that are well over their 30s and 40s, that are still walking around with their pants halfway down their hind parts? Is that masculine? Is that the type of rough around the edges that women are looking for? Yeah, he's wearing his pants halfway down. They look masculine, but is that a trait of a masculine male? An alpha male, beta male, or one who may identify as something else? And again, everybody is entitled to express themselves how they feel. Asking a question. Empress says, right at Ryder. Ryder says, a good girl, if she's attractive, she won't finish last, especially if she's submissive and feminine. Well. Ryder is going down a rabbit hole. Would you think some of the most beautiful women on the big screen? Halle Berry comes to mind. Elizabeth Taylor back in the day comes to mind. Marilyn Monroe. Were they, quote unquote, good girls? They were attractive, but found themselves in tumultuous relationships. Was it because they were not submissive nor feminine? Let's star this one. I want to remember this in the future. It's a good topic to have. Really good topic. Thank you, writers. And Empress says it's about balance. Writer says, I believe with Empress's comment. Go back up. Okay. And this again. I've come to the realization that everyone is not meant to be together. We put ourselves together. God didn't. We all have a soulmate, and we find each other in what God has joined together. That part. Absolutely. Inviting another man. Woo-wee. Inviting another man to his, yeah. And I didn't mean to be rough about it, but I mean, I see this still in 2023. MG707 said earlier, it's 2023. Well, if you want to get, as Hassan Campbell would say, funky with it, why am I still seeing this? Grown men walking around with their pants halfway down the hind parts. And yes, they have the physique, they have the muscles, but, well, no pun intended. However, this is what I still see in 2023. And yes, I understand that many people will liken that particular fashion statement, if you will, to mean what Empress has stated. And in knowing this, because I see plenty in this area. What does that say? And Empress continues with, that is what sagging means. And Empress says, wait 1 minute, okay. And Empress asks, can we be submissive to each other? I'm going to star that. Ryder says, no man who Ryder says, no man who is older and still acting and wearing clothes like they're in their teens are weirdos. Perfect example. Writers. I keep calling you writers. Writer. Perfect example. Snoop Dogg being 50 plus and still acting like an old school pimp from the 70s. No, writer. I understand that and agree, but is this part of his persona that he's putting on to the public's eye? Or do you believe that's just him? But I'll read that again. It's pinned and it says, no, man who is older and still acting and wearing clothes like they're in their teens are weirdos. Perfect example, Snoop Dogg being 50 and still acting like an old school pimp from the 70s. And my question was again, is Snoop doing this as a persona? Because we have to remember, in the public eye, we see a lot of things from older individuals that they may have started off initially as their quote unquote brand. And is it something that he's decided to continue? Or do you think at some point it's time to retire those personas and get into the lane of your age? And again, I'm not judging at all. Just a question. But I was very serious about seeing a lot of men, late 30s, 40s, 50s, still walking around with their pants halfway down their hind parts. And then when you look at them, just because you might be surprised to see that, they give you this glare like, don't even question my behavior. And writer says, Empress, that would be out of balance. To be submissive is a feminine trait. Let me read that again. Empress, that would be out of balance. To be submissive is a feminine trait. Remember, to be submissive to your man is not being a slave. It's just a feminine trait, which is a beautiful thing. So, writer, again, this is an adult conversation. For those that are, let me start that as well. I'm going to use these as talking points in the future. So, for those that are married or in committed relationships, and they've said, I don't know, but I've heard this, that the marital bed is the best bed. And you're engaging. And some of this engagement may include role play, where there are men who may play the submissive role. Is that, in your opinion, writer, and being submissive or pleasing his partner in the act of marital engagement? Spiritual says, point taken, writer. And writer continues, nah, that's not persona. I actually believe he's actually like that. Snoop, I mean. Let me repeat that. Nah, that's not persona. Oh no, that's no persona. I really believe he's actually like that. And that's in reference to Snoop. So, do you believe that all of the other gentlemen, 40, 50 plus, that's just how they are? And it's not a persona. And back to the starred comment, that would be out of balance. To be submissive is a feminine trait. Remember, to be submissive to your man is not being a slave. It's just a feminine trait, which is a beautiful thing. So, and your beliefs, writer, what is being submissive? Or what are some of the behaviors, in your opinion, writer, that would equate to a woman being submissive? Oh, no problem, Empress. We're talking about, he actually answered your question. And it's up there on the screen. When you said, can we be submissive to one another? And his response was, that would be out of balance. To be submissive is a feminine trait. Remember, to be submissive to your man is not being a slave. It's just a feminine trait, which is a beautiful thing. And my question was that it is said that the marital bed is the best bed. And if you're engaging in relations And one of those engagements includes role play, where the man or husband is being submissive to the wife. Does that change the paradigm? And is that a feminine trait, or is the husband or partner pleasing his partner? And I'll wait to see if Ryder has anything to come up with that. And it was actually a second part, and I asked, what are, in Ryder's opinions, and anyone that's listening, you can either comment now or later, what are feminine traits? I'm sorry, what are traits that would deem a woman being submissive? And Ryder says, okay, just to set the record straight, I'm not this red pill guy, or neither do I believe in this manosphere foolishness. Okay, cool. For me to role play and be submissive to my wife, that's just not in me. But I'm not married. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So I'll read that again. So, to set the record straight, I'm not this red pill guy, or neither do I believe in this manosphere foolishness. For me to role play and be submissive to my wife, that's just not in me, but I'm not married. So, if you were Ryder, and the goal is, I believe, or under the impression, is to please one another, and if that is something that your wife wanted, are you saying that is totally off the table? Is that your feeling now? Could it change, or that's what you stand on and you're sticking to it? And Ryder says not much. Nope, he answered your question, Empress. And I'll see if Ryder comes up with any other comment to that, because I'm really interested in that. And what I was asking earlier, and I'll type it in, what are the traits in your opinion that would equate to a woman being submissive? What traits or behaviors? And I'll type that. Okay, I typed it in, and I'll wait to see what, if any, responses are there. And thank you, Ryder. You have some excellent points, but I'm just curious because I do know that, okay, you see what he says. Okay, let me ask you this. When you say for a husband to be submissive, what's your definition of a man being submissive? For me, and Empress can also weigh in since she asked that question. I wouldn't really say a man being submissive. I am looking at it as just be willing to please his wife or partner. And in that mindset, I don't see it as being submissive. And to be honest, and adult, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I mean, there are people, and I'm going to try not to laugh, that are into some things. I mean, some really interesting things, I'll say, where I'll just say they're into some interesting things. And it's about, I believe, pleasing one another. But as I look at your comments and where you stand, do you think there are just some areas that men should not go because of certain beliefs or society? Or is that off the table when you're married? And Pre7 check, I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. Salute to you. I've seen you before, a long time ago, and I said your name incorrectly. But welcome, and salute to you. And I'll put that up. But that's my answer to your question, Ryder. And Empress, if you're still here, when you finish eating, you can preach. That's right. I remember you. How are you? Long time. Yes, it has been a very long time. I remember because I mentioned about the 7, and you said, no, it's just preach. So give me one moment. Again, you're welcome to chime in on this, talking about the 90-day rule and relationships. Okay, you all that are coming in, please make sure that you hit that like button and share. Reach. If you like, you can come up and add to this conversation. If not, you're welcome to continue to leave your comments. And Preach says, I'm good. 7, okay, this is right up Empress's alley because she is into numbers deeply, and I'm still trying to learn. But Preach says 7 is a divine number. That's why I chose it. Empress follows up and says, basically, not being a tyrant, narcissistic dictator. And writer said earlier, interesting. I'm still waiting to see if those men that are married and engage in certain acts with their wives that may be roles that may be deemed as submissive, would that then say that a man has a feminine trait, or is he just pleasing his wife, the one that he took their hand in marriage and gave vows? And Empress says, I'm answering writer about being submissive. So, writer Empress states, basically not being a tyrant, narcissistic dictator. And writer says, submissive to me is a woman, feminine, caring, understanding, makes you feel wanted, standing behind to not let you fall, respectful, not acting masculine, etc., to name a few things. And writer says, laugh out loud, Empress, yes, yes, yes. So writer again, I'm going to star this, says, submissive to me is, for a woman, feminine, caring, understanding, makes you feel wanted, standing behind to not let you fall, respectful, not acting masculine, etc., to name a few things. And Empress says, now that's understandable. So, acting masculine. What's acting masculine? Is it performing things that men are normally known to do? Is it speaking or using foul language or behaving in certain ways in public and or behind closed doors? Could that be deemed as masculine? Dang, Empress said, acting like a man. Now, is that acting like a man, Empress, or doing things that men have been coined that they normally do? And I'm just getting or seeking clarity, that's all. But good comments to everyone. Very good comments. And these things right here that you mentioned, writer, to me, and I don't know everyone in this entire world, but I believe that most women, and correct me if I'm wrong, and that's for anyone, they're already doing these things. They're feminine, soft, if you will, caring. I think caring is innate. Understanding, I believe, is an innate trait. Makes you feel wanted. I definitely believe that's an innate trait. That's already within the fabric of a woman. Now, again, if I'm wrong, let me know. But these are things that I believe are a part of women. Standing behind, not to let you fall, respectful, not acting masculine, to name a few. And Empress says, well, it's 2023. Women feel like they can do it as much as a man and can still be feminine. All right, wait for Ryder to respond to that. And everyone, welcome, Preach. Hey there, Preach.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Long time. I thought I remembered you.
I'll be everywhere. I'll be around.
So, your thoughts on this conversation. And again, everyone, please welcome panel member Preach.
Hey, my bad. I was commenting and stuff, but give me the full idea of what we're really talking about so I can give you a real answer.
Okay, we started off talking about, and we still are, the 90-day rule. If you believe that is something that works, if it doesn't work, I've shown several little snippets of videos. This premise came from Steve Harvey, who believes, and there are others that believe, that you should wait at least 90 days before you give the benefit, if you will. And then we just started talking from there. And some of the comments on the screen is talking about relationships and submission. And that's where we are right now. And the latest comment from Ryder says, acting masculine for a woman is having the traits of a male, trying to take charge, bossy, wanting to physically fight a man, being ghetto and ratchet. If I wanted a masculine female, I'll just turn, well, you see what's up on the screen.
No, I see it.
Hey there, Angie. How are you? Okay. I'll put my mic on mute.
Yeah. Now, Steve Harvey is a master simp. He's been divorced twice and lost everything. So he obviously doesn't have the right advice for a man. When I call him a simp, I don't mean to disrespect him. I just mean because people don't understand that the word simp means sympathetic man. You're sympathetic to everything that a woman says, right? When you're a man, right, you have to understand that you're in a certain position and she's in a certain position. It's not about dominance. It's not about control. It's not about a woman being a slave. It's about being a certain type of man that makes a woman feel like she has to take care of what she has to take care of, and you take care of what you have to take care of. Because naturally, she shouldn't have to take care of certain things that we need to take care of. But when a man starts exhibiting behavior that makes her feel uncomfortable about her security financially and physically, then she will start picking up the slack. Once she starts trying to pick up that slack, she will start to develop masculine traits for survival. We're humans. That's what we do. So if you make your girl have to survive, then you're going to get the results you're getting. And people find that hard to understand. Surviving.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. You said when you make your girl. So what do you mean by make? Assuming or expecting, or is it something that is physically or verbally?
Oh no, it's all nonverbal. That's the thing about it. It's all nonverbal. Okay, so for example, we have this problem where men are like, women want you to have 100K. The only reason they're throwing out those big numbers is because in their mind, they don't want to work and they don't want to do shit. Nobody wants to do shit. We're humans. Nobody wants to slave every day to make a paycheck. Nobody wants that. So these really pretty girls, they're like, I don't want to have to do anything for the rest of my life. I just want to sit somewhere that's comfortable. Nobody can blame them for that because there's men out there that are willing to give that to them. But it's not enough men out there that are willing to give that to them. So they get OnlyFans so they can get money from desperate men that have married women already. And My bad, it's ghetto bird helicopters in the streets. But you can't get mad at those women because they're pretty. They were born with value. So there are old men that are out there willing to be their sugar daddies and pay their money to see their videos, and they're gonna make money. They make money. They make like $10,000 a month or something, $5,000 a month or something. They could just throw their bodies up there, but they're sacrificing, the chance to be with a real man that really wants to be with them. So it's this balance of morality and lifestyle. If you're willing to sacrifice your morality for your lifestyle, then you'll have the lifestyle you want if you're pretty.
So you're speaking on physical.
Yeah, I'm speaking on the physical. Yeah, I'm speaking on the physical because that's what matters right now. Because if you go on Instagram, this girl's shaking their ass and they thick. They're real thick. And it's men willing to pay for that because they sitting back like, I don't want to go to a bar just so I can be the girl that's going to be nasty towards me unless I tell her everything she has to hear. And then I got to do all these things. And then she's going to tell me I got to take her on 4 dates. And she got 2 kids. And she's still not going to give me nothing. And she want me to buy her kids food. I might as well just go on Instagram or Snapchat, find one of these chicks, pay the amount, and then have her come over and do what I wanted the first chick to do in the first place. That's the problem. It's a lot of women out here with their bodies for sale. And then it's women out here that have their bodies for sale, but they try to act like their bodies aren't for sale, like they're some kind of dating candidate. But they're not a dating candidate. They just want to act like it because they're too ashamed to act like they're selling themselves. I'm a man.
So let me ask you this. That's a very good point. Does it take a certain ilk of man to be able to differentiate the two, or no? Or does it even matter to some men? They just don't care. They want that instant gratification, if you will.
Yeah, it does take a certain ilk of man. You do have to discern between the two. I know because I've been around both types of women, and it's only a few questions you need to ask to know if they're just pay for play or if they're a real person. And it's not hard to figure it out. It only takes maybe at the longest 72 hours, because if she is just selling herself, all you have to do is bring up something sexual, and then she'll be like, oh, if you want this, then I'll give you this for this. And if she's faking it, trying to act like she a real chick, I've run into this. I've run into chicks that were kind of cool, just trying to see where their brain is at. And 9 times out of 10, they'll have a dude in their life. If they're not selling themselves and they're semi-cute and they're just trying to do what they got to do, they'll have a man in their life. But when you ask for their phone number, they thought you were cuter than the nigga that they're already talking to. But the dude that they're already talking to understands the game, and he knows that it's hard to find a woman that's not selling her body. So he's going to do everything in his power to block that. That's what you call a cock blocker. So when she just stops talking to you out of nowhere or starts ghosting you, it's because that nigga went through her phone because he felt in his gut that she was talking to somebody else, and now you wondering what the fuck happened. You got to be a real player to understand that. That's where we come to now. All the good women, they're getting snatched up by the dudes that want a good woman. And all the girls that selling themselves and selling their bodies for a profit, they all around. They're everywhere. You can find them anywhere.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure if you can see the comment from Ryder on the screen, but it says it's also, I think you touched on it briefly, it's also business transactions that are selling their youth and beauty for money. And in return, if the guy's not a sucker, he's getting intimacy out of the deal. And he further states that statement was from a former YouTuber who is no longer with us. So I'll put this back
Now,
on.
I never listened to Kevin Samuels, but if they were referring to him, that's cool. But I never listened to him. I learned this from OGs in my life. I've always grew up listening to this. So when I saw Kevin Samuels, I just looked at him as a dude that was a feminine dude saying the same thing that gangster niggas told me when I was a kid. You see what I'm saying? So I don't got no disrespect towards Kevin Samuels. I'm just saying I grew up with this. And I'm just saying I'm seeing it come to fruition. Now Kevin Samuels definitely was a person that was trying to get ahead of this bullshit with the feminist movement created. Like, it's creating a bunch of whores because it's telling a girl, if a rapper is willing to smash you in their house, then that's your standard. And they're believing that. So women nowadays, they're believing that whatever the highest standard of man in their mind, as far as money or status, is willing to smash them, that's their bar as far as dating. And that's not the same thing, because a man that's willing to smash you is not the same man that's willing to marry you. They're believing that. So now you have these fat girls on podcasts, these horrible looking Jabba the Hutt women looking people that are going up on podcasts that I could never be on because she has a vagina, because someone's willing to hit that vagina that's of a certain status. She believes that because he's of that certain status, that same status of man is willing to marry her. And that is not true. And that's the real problem. Girls think because Chris Brown is going to put his meat in your mouth, you willing to tell another man, if he's not on the Chris Brown status, that he can't mess with you, is ridiculous. They're delusional, and they're gonna die alone. Kevin Samuels did say that, so I agree with him on that. You know, they're trapping themselves into this box because sex is not the same thing as marriage. You know, sex is not the same thing as love. Sex is not the same thing as loyalty, and that's what they're getting trapped in. They're using their youth and their beauty to have fun, and everybody has fun. Young men have fun. That's what the feminist movement did. Oh, all these men are having fun and they're cheating on women and all this stuff, so we should use our youth and our beauty to have fun. And yeah, men will smash anything. Men will smash anything. So it's easier for you.
Hold on for a moment. Preach. Empress is laughing at you, but you just said something, and again, you've just said, and I'm glad that you're keeping it somewhat clean. I appreciate it. You said that men will smash anything. Is this all men or men who do not value themselves? Because I really don't want to believe that there's a whole population of men who just said, or who will do what you just said, that will just smash anything. And I'm speaking men with titles, men with prestige, men period. Are you saying that those two will just, I don't want to use the word smash, but will engage with anyone? Or,
let me explain something to you.
Let me put my mic on mute, and thank you.
There have been men that have hollowed out watermelons and fruits to smash them. They have made molds of girls' butts that have sexual anonymity to smash them alone. They've done that. Just like how women have used men's phalluses to pleasure themselves. There's something called a fleshlight. You gotta understand, we're humans. We have human needs. At the end of the day, men will smash anything. And when you raise a generation of women to say, I want this top percentage of men, and I'm only going to accept that 6'1" and over, certain amount of money, certain looks, or if he's a thug gangster to what the rap music is telling me I want to find. He can be broke if he's good, if he's gangster enough. If he's gangster enough, he can be broke. But he can't be broke if he's not gangster enough. So that boxes men into a corner. So it leaves all those other guys. It leaves those hardworking men that are not all of that. And it leaves them out to dry. They have nothing. And unless men go around just taking it from women, which is rape, which is wrong. Which is wrong. They're not going to get anything, and they just have to be patient and find the right one. So that's what most men are doing. They're working hard. They're trying to get their bodies in shape. They're trying to get to the right income level. Because to be honest, you could be a midget. If you're on TV and you have status and you have money, a woman is going to deal with you sexually because she's searching for comfort and stability to where she doesn't have to do anything. When women stop lying about how they really don't want to do anything and all that independent stuff is out the window, because nobody really wants to work. Nobody really wants to work. And the person that can tell you that the most is a man, because we got to work real hard. We got to work real hard. And so we have to work even harder just to get a woman to acknowledge us. Just to get a woman to acknowledge us, even if you're handsome.
Okay. Writer says, I'm not sure if you can see this comment. I'll go ahead and read it. Most of what I know about female nature, I knew from my father. May he rest in power. Yes, may he rest in power, writer. He showed me that this world is full of wolves and never fall prey. Then he follows up with, I'm not mashing anything, especially if I don't have my vest on, no STD or no more little prophets running around. So your thoughts on that, Breach?
100%. I don't got no kids. I'm 31. I don't got no kids. I don't got no kids for a reason. I kept a strap on. You see what I'm saying? I never had in my head, oh, and you know what I believe? And niggas don't get mad at this. I believe a lot of dudes ejaculate inside these females so they can trap them, because they want to keep that female around. They want to keep them held down because they really like them more than they admit. And they want to. They know that woman is going to keep that.
Okay, so is this generational based, in your opinion, or is it universal? About wanting to keep these women around.
Perhaps. And I pulled out because I don't want no kid. I don't want this world. I've dealt with plenty of females. I've met no female that I want to have a baby with. Not one. Not one. I have no kids. I have no child support. I have no baby mama drama. I got no STDs. I got none of that. Because I stay safe. I'm preach. The internet know who I am. I speak my truth all the time. I don't play no games like that. But it's dudes out here that's like, well, I think this girl pretty. I'm going to try to trap her. It's dudes that trap women. It's dudes that trap women. I think it's more dudes that trap women than women that trap dudes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because all you got to do is let off.
No, I was saying that's interesting. So at 31, you said that you haven't found anyone that you really want to procreate with.
You get second thoughts when that post nut clarity gone. When that post nut clarity hit kick in, and you sitting down chilling playing video games, and she hit you with that text. Now you really got to deal with the reality. I already thought past that. I don't gotta deal with that reality because I thought about it before. I'm strapping up immediately.
So I'm sorry. At 31, though, do you think later on your feelings may change, or this is what you stand on? This is your truth, and this is what you're standing on firmly.
That's what I'm standing on. I'm not bringing no children into this world I can't give a fair chance to, because I was brought into this world without giving a fair chance. I was brought into this world without giving a fair chance. I was brought into this world without having parents that was going to fully guide me into a situation where I can be successful. So why would I bring a human being into this world where I can't give them a fair shot? It's rude and it's disrespectful and it's selfish. But these people is out here just smashing each other irresponsibly. And they're bringing children into this world that they cannot take care of. That's why I say men should hold other men accountable.
And
They think it's funny. They think it's funny. Oh, I'm gonna smash this. Oh, I ain't finna wear no condom. You open yourself up to diseases, and you open yourself up to a new person, a whole human being. You're a human being. You don't think about the shit you've been through. And sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. You don't think about the stuff you don't think about the stuff you've been through. You don't think about the stuff you was lacking in your life. A father, you never met him. You don't think about the stuff you didn't have. You don't think about the times in school where you was made fun of for wearing messed up clothes. You don't think about those times, and you just running around slinging your thing and anything and creating these children. And then we wonder why we are labeled as people that commit the most crime towards one another. It's all of this toxicity. Because in the very beginning, the person that decided to label your mother wasn't thinking about your future. See, I think about the future. And people want to say, oh, if a man doesn't have kids at a certain age, there's something wrong with him. No, it's something wrong with you. You're killing our society. There ain't nothing wrong with me. I thought it through.
I agree with that. And Ryder says, I'm not sure if you can see the comment, but he says, this is a smart brother. Whoever OG is, good job. You're being 31. If he's not ready, that is a good thing. Absolutely. So what has kept you on the straight and narrow, Preach? Is it because of what you've seen? And do you believe that some people, whether it be older or younger, emulate what they've seen? And Coach D, this is up your alley if you'd like. This is a 31-year-old who's dropping some gems here. So Preach, again, your stance. Is this from what you've seen and what's been taught to you by what you coined earlier as the OGs?
I had real OGs. My uncles was all from prison. Even when I wanted to be violent as a young kid, you know what I mean? You know, they'll be like, all right, let's go in the backyard and find out how tough you is. You want to go to school and get at what people is talking about? You ain't got the best shoes. You ain't got the best clothes. You feel me? Let's see how much that matters when you're in prison. Let's find out. I've been fighting. My uncles been showing me what it really is my whole life. You know, they've been showing me what not to do my whole life. They've been showing me. They told me, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. He opened up. One of my uncles opened up a piece of mail, $55,000 in child support. You want to handle that? Yeah, I listened. I actually listened, and I actually looked at it, and you know how much, you know how loud a baby cries and how much they wake you up all night. You gotta really be prepared for that. If you gotta go to a job every day, you and your girl, at least one of y'all gotta stay home to deal with that. You see what I'm saying? Even if the man does work, if he could wake up at 2 in the morning and handle it for her and she feels stressed out, you don't want your woman putting the baby in the oven and getting all delusional. Like, a child ain't no joke. You see what I'm saying? I was scared straight. You feel me? I was scared straight. And it's important to have that for young black men. Like, and you asked me another question. I'm trying to remember it. I was gonna say something else, but you know, you really gotta pay attention to the people that's in your life that's trying to tell you like what's going on. Like, because I really didn't want that for my life. I knew I didn't want that for my life, so I just paid attention. Because you know, a smart man learns from his own mistakes. a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. So I just looked at other people's mistakes and I was like, let me avoid that, because I know the path that goes down. And I just try to keep my head on straight. I just try to make sure I'm not, and I'm gonna say this, I'm a Christian, I'm preach. I'm all around the internet. I'm a Christian. I believe that Jesus died and rose again in 3 days. I confess that in front of everybody, because when I die, I don't want Jesus to say, I don't know you, depart from me, because I'm gonna go to a real messed up place. I confess that in front of everybody. I might have my little issues and I might have my faults, but at the end of the day, that's what I believe in. And I try to follow a path that's going to give me the most peace. And it's not peaceful to have some crazy baby mama slashing your tires, breaking your windows out, or slanging your wood everywhere, and have some crazy chick sexually obsessed over you. I'm not on none of that. And all my whole life, I'm not persecuted, but I've been looked at as like, oh, you lame, you weird for believing in this. But as I became a grown man, I'm looking at all these people around me and all these dudes around me that grew up and they got all these problems. I don't got those problems. I got freedom. I got financial freedom. I got freedom. If a job called me, hey, we want you in Wisconsin, we want you in Tech, I'm there. I'm making the money. You see what I'm saying? And our young brothers need to understand that, like, not only does it put you in a position where it ties you to a person that you really didn't want to be with in the first place, but it also hinders your ability to make money.
Absolutely, and excellent points. Welcome to the panel, Coach D. Coach D, this is Preach. And Coach D, what would you like to add? And thank you so much.
Hey there, how you doing, Wise?
Doing well. How are you, sir?
Good. Glad to have caught this. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, OG? I know you finna drop some gems. You got them sunglasses on in that profile picture. You look like your shirt a little bit open. What, you retired or something?
I'm not
I got hey, you didn't do your research on Preach. I'm a little bit of a roast, but I see it. You finna come in here and drop some gems, ain't it?
Well, I'm gonna give my perspective. So we're talking about the 90-day rule.
Yes, sir. I'm just listening.
Okay. Well, my perspective is that when it comes to the 90-day rule, it's something that has pretty much, for the most part, in our community, has been taught to for women as a defense against men who may not have their best interests. And it's a way to shield from men that, are basically looking to exploit, use, or, to see if they genuinely want to be with you or not, and it's a way of you vetting. And so my perspective is, when it comes to that, I don't necessarily agree with the 90-day rule. I think that for every woman, it's different. Or man, as far as you vetting someone, whether it's 90 days, 60 days, some people need to be vetted longer than 90 days. I think that every relationship is different depending on the person. I think that for anyone that is dating, whatever amount of time that you think is appropriate for you should be used. It's not a one-size-fits-all scenario. If you're not ready to be with someone after 90 days, and if you want to exercise your right to wait longer, that's what I would suggest you do. It all depends on your experiences. What you want out of a date right now. If you feel attracted, connected to someone, some people they choose not to wait. that as long. They may choose to wait, 60 days or 30 days. Now, what I teach pretty much is that, I kind of, reinforce that people should not quickly jump into sexual interaction with people that they don't know and don't know their intentions. Now, I can't put a timeline on when that is, when someone has satisfied whether or not, they've shown to want more than just wanting a sexual relationship. That's, to me, I leave that up to the responsibility of that person to determine that. Now, I also know that within the 90-day rule, like I know in Steve Harvey's book, he and in some of his shows, he reinforced a lot of the 90-day rule. And part of the 90-day rule was that he said that if a guy is truly vested at that time, if he's willing to stick around for 90 days, he's probably not willing to go anywhere. The issue with that is that has some level of truth, but that's not necessarily applicable to every relationship. And that's one of the reasons why when I teach on my channel, I never give finite, as far as a numerical period for anything, because in relationships, they're not all comparable. Everything is different. Everybody's different. One person may be different from the previous person or the next person, male or female. But I do think that what should be reinforced is that you as the individual, what you want to set for yourself, whatever guideline that you set for yourself, whatever principles you set for yourself, should be defined by you. Now, if you choose, well, I don't think 90 days is appropriate for me. I think 40 days is appropriate, 50 days. That's fine, because what you think is appropriate for you may not be appropriate for somebody else. And I just think that creating a 90-day standard is not necessarily going to prove to be 100% effective, because when we're talking about people, we're talking about the probability of things, the fact that everybody's personality is different, your set of circumstances are different, what you're looking for out of a relationship, long-term, short-term, whatever you're wanting is all different. But I do think that every person should have some level of standard of what needs to be satisfied before you enter into a sexual or a closer relationship. So that's kind of the way I look at it, because there are a lot of unsuccessful relationships in which a guy waited 90 days or the couple waited 90 days, and then the relationship didn't work. And then there are relationships in which people didn't wait 90 days and those relationships blossom appropriately. So there's pros and cons to that. So that's kind of the perspective that I have as it relates to the 90-day rule.
Okay, quickly. Thank you so much. Both of you can answer a comment on this. Writer says, Steve is a simp. Most of his supporters are females. He panders to women because it's his biggest audience. Coach D, your thought, and then Preach, your thought on that comment. Thank you, writers. Well,
I don't think Steve Harvey is a simp. And I think a lot of people think that he's a simp, because there's certain spaces that think Steve Harvey is a simp because he made a decision to marry a woman with children, and also that he adopted those children. Now, and he also panders to women, which I do agree that particularly his book and some of the rhetoric that he said is a bit one-sided. And then I also say that within that, we also have to look at the history of Steve Harvey, because Steve Harvey doesn't have the best track record with women. And I think that should be the biggest criticism of Steve Harvey. He's been married 3 times. So a man that's been married 3 times, and from my vantage point, regardless of your financial or your notoriety as a television or entertainer, doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best teacher of how people should function in relationships. And I don't think Steve Harvey, you also got to understand that book is also a form of entertainment. Now, as a woman or man who reads the book and you choose to pick and choose what you think is beneficial for you, you have the right to pick and choose what you think will work for you and what would not. I mean, I do think his book may have some legitimate strategies and solutions, but overall, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Steve Harvey says, because his life is not necessarily, the choices that he has made are not necessarily reflective of his behavior in real life. So that's the point of contention that I have as it involves Steve Harvey and things like that. But a lot of what Steve Harvey teaches, and this is just my opinion, and as a female, because I know a large percentage of his the people who bought the book and supported him are women. It was all based on women operating in fear of whether or not a man only wants me for sex, or if he really wants to be with me genuine. And it was a lot in dealing with fear, as it involves, if you do this and do that, he used the term, he wants the cookies and all these other different things. And I get it, he's a comedian, you say different things, but it was all about the I would say putting up walls or putting up things or putting up different fences to evaluate whether or not the man is using me for sex, when there's other aspects of a relationship, not just the sexual aspect of a relationship. There's also issues of character. There's also issues of communication. There's issues of whether or not a person is a good listener. Is this person productive? There's other aspects of a man's character. And also, these women also understanding their character and how they treat someone, because that's all reciprocal. Sometimes the way you treat it is also an indicator of how you treat someone else. You can't treat someone badly and expect not to be badly treated in return. And so, a lot of aspects of what he says has a lot of limitations in its surface level as it relates to relationships as a whole. So that's kind of the perspective I have on I'm not going to call him a simp, but what I can say, he is a person who is, in my opinion, writing and saying things to exploit women to support his channel to make money. I don't know if that's necessarily a simp or not, but he has to make money. If you don't sell books, you can't make money. If you don't say certain things, people are not going to watch your show.
Okay. Awesome answer. Your take, Preach. And thank you.
Yeah, Bill Cosby is a simp. He messed up 3 times in marriage because he is a simp. A simp stands for a sympathetic man. You're too sympathetic to what women are saying. You're not standing your ground. You're not being a man. That's why his stepdaughter became an industry whore and put herself all over social media to get smashed by all kind of rappers. No woman that's living in your household is going to feel good about having her sexual life exploited on the internet if you're a real man. That's why he had all that, and that's why he lost all his money multiple times to women. And so we need to start being men again. If he was a real man, he would have had a real conversation with her, or she would have already known. Like, yo, I'm in the industry, I'm into show business. These rappers ain't got nothing. But she was like, nah, I just want to be cute and sexy. My body's fine. I'm a smash Future. I'm gonna smash this dude. I'm gonna smash that dude. And it's okay. It's gonna go online. That's online forever. So when she decides that she wants to have children and have a family, a man that actually is godly and wants to be with her, because there's gonna be a point where she's gonna have an interview. I guarantee it. I'm prophesying. She's gonna have an interview where she's like, I just want to go to God and I want to do this. And when that cuteness runs out, when she feels like that cuteness is running out, she's gonna want a man of God that's gonna be there. But she's just having fun right now. But it's on the internet. So that man that she acts like she wants to be with is gonna have to deal with that. It's like dating a porn star. It's no different. It's no different. And that's what men are trying to say. It's like, it's okay. You can have your sexual empowerment. You can have an OnlyFans when you're as soon as you turn 18. Okay, fine. Make your money. It's fine. Nobody's telling you not to make your money. This economy sucks. Make your money. You can't find a man that makes money that you think is cute. No problem. Do whatever you want to do. Right? But just understand that you're going to reach a point where you realize that men don't find you pretty to the point where you get into the club for free. And you don't get everything you want just because of how you look. And when you're sitting in your house, lonely, and nobody's hitting you up no more, your phone's dry, and you're used to it blowing up, you're going to want a dude that treats you nice, that's willing to feed you, that's willing to be nice to you, and be generous to you, and willing to support whatever kind of lifestyle you want. Then once you're ran through, you're going to want to look for that. And he's not going to want you. He's not going to want you.
Okay, your thoughts on what Preach just said, Coach D? Preach again. Thank you so much for that.
Well,
and your thoughts.
I do get what he's saying, because there are things and technological things as far as for this generation. I mean, I'm 45 years old. When I was dating, there was no OnlyFans, there was no social media like that. The internet was basically just coming into fruition around 94, 95. And so the issues with dating apps and all these different social media platforms where people utilize for dating didn't exist. So the reality of dating is quite different as it has evolved over time. So you do have women misusing, or men, both are misusing, certain things. And in that, we have to take responsibility for, like, if you go on OnlyFans or you go on Instagram and things like that, there's a certain level of responsibility that you must take in doing that. So you can't do certain things and expect certain men to be attracted to you and take you seriously. They may like you sexually, but that don't mean they may like you as far as a long-term relationship. So I get it.
All I'm trying to say, OG, is that the generation of women right now, they think that just because a man is willing to lay down with them, they think that same caliber of man is willing to marry them. They're delusional. Right? And nobody's mad at them for that, because everybody has a chance to have fun in their life. But if you're so fine, you're so pretty, that a rapper as a male or a celebrity as a male is willing to let you backstage, they think just because they're willing to get back there, that they can tell every other man, oh, you need to be of this caliber to deal with me, just because he was willing to smash you or put his meat in your mouth. They think that. They really think that. They really think that, and that's what men. And I'm 31. That's what men in my bracket have to deal with. We have to deal with women that think that just because they look a certain way and they can get into a certain place because they look a certain way and be around certain people, that every man that they meet has to be on that caliber or we're lower than them. They don't understand that you're not going to find anything true or anything real out of that. If you gave me $1 million today, you know what I'm going to do with that $1 million? I'm going to smash every Instagram chick I ever wanted to smash. But I never could have smashed because I didn't have enough money. So every man that has a bunch of money to already smash them, they think that they're on that level to have someone marry them. They think that's the same thing as someone liking them. No, a man doesn't like you because he's willing to smash you. A man's willing to smash you because he's trying to smash. And they're delusional enough because of social media to believe that. So all the average dudes, they left with nothing. They're left with nothing. They're left with a bunch of chicks that are average at best, that are telling them they're not good enough. That's why the suicide rate on men is so high.
Wow.
Because they're giving up.
Wow. Well, no, that's interesting, and that's probably something Coach can expound on a little bit further, but I want to read a comment. A man can sleep with 100 women and nothing said, but a female is considered the W word and will be dragged through the mud. And she finishes with, and that's the way I grew up. So your thoughts on that, Coach D?
Well, unfortunately, particularly in our community, Black men who are not sexually accountable for their actions is not being, what I say, disparaged enough. And to me, the question is not whether or not a woman will do those things. It's a question that can men show discipline, sexual discipline, because it's a two-way street. It does speak to some level of gender inequality or just a perspective. And the irony of that in some sense is that a lot of women hold women to that standard of if they slept with multiple men, they would be seen as such. But if their son or other family member slept with a bunch of women and hurt them, they would not see them in a bad manner. So that needs to be something culturally changed within our community, as far as us turning a blind eye, whether or not men are emotionally affected by having sex with a bunch of women or not, and it doesn't necessarily bother them or not. We have to look at the overall effect of that. And so we have a large percentage of men in our community who don't show responsibility for the children that they created, the diseases that they spread, and the women that they hurt in lying, not being honest with them, and doing things in as far as being a rolling stone in the community and abroad. It has a social effect. So much that we have a baby mama drama culture, baby daddy culture. We replaced husband and wife with baby mama and baby daddy. We have broken homes. We have children that have never seen their fathers, and fathers who don't care about taking care of their children. No, this is something. I'm not saying that this is the average Black person's reality, but it's a large percentage of people in our community that have this reality. And I think that what needs to be changed is that both genders, whether you're male or female, if you're going out and you are, spreading yourself around to multiple people, that's going to be an adverse effect and an adverse effect on you and your psyche and things that's going on. The brother just talked about things about child support. I think he said something about that, financially and things like that. Those things have an effect. Child support court, custody hearings, all of those things stem from people who are being, sexually unaccountable for their actions. Whether or not you can do it or not doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. And if we want to change that in our community, we're going to have to start teaching children from the time that they are young enough to understand that marriage is a valuable institution, and that you would want to be married, you would want to have children, and you would want to fit into whatever roles that made for you being a husband, wife, a man, a woman. And we don't teach that in our community. Other groups of people teach these things, and that's one of the reasons why we're behind. And we have a large percentage of black men who are unaccountable for their actions, and we have a large percentage of black women who are unaccountable for their actions because of that, and wondering why men are not doing these things. And a lot of these women who are unhappy with the amount of, I guess, good black men that stated, they're raising their sons to do the exact same thing. They're not raising them to not be that way. They will actually, tell that either they would be indifferent to their son acting in this manner, or they'll enable it. And that's a problem.
Absolutely. And that is what Preach was saying when he first came onto the panel, that he was under the tutelage of OGs, people older than him. So my question to you, Preach, and then you, Coach D, how can it, or is it even possible, that there are more quote unquote OGs that are willing to teach young brothers like Preach, who's on the panel, to have the mindset that he has, to be responsible and not want to bring in a child into this world without, as he said earlier, even giving a child a chance? Preach, you can go ahead and answer, and Coach D, if you like, you can follow up. And thank you, gentlemen, both.
Yeah, I have this conversation with men all the time, and they get defensive about it. And it's like, they made it real plain and simple to me. They were like, yo, just strap up, just wear a condom, just wear a condom. Like, buy condoms, make sure you're protected, because you don't know what you're bringing a whole entire life into this world. Young men need to have that drilled into their head. You're bringing an entire life into this world. You think you're just having a good time. No, you could possibly be bringing an entire human being into this world. What are you going to do about bringing an entire... Are you responsible enough for that? Can you handle that? That was drilled into my head. Are you capable to handle an entire human being coming into this world that you're 100% responsible for? We're not having that drilled into our heads enough as young black men. And I don't care what kind of conversations that people want to have about relationships and all that. You deal with that first. We're doing things backwards. We have the babies first, and then we try to figure out how to have a relationship after. I'm not on that. I'm not on that all that drama. I don't like drama. I like peace. I want to have peace in my life. I'm not attaching myself to no woman forever. I'm pulling out. I'm scared. I don't know you as well as I should to know if we can raise a child together. If I'm just having fun, I'm just having fun. But strap up. If you're just having fun, strap up. But they don't want to have fun. Oh, it don't feel as good. No, it does feel as good. Because when you in your room and you ain't got nothing going on, and you watching X videos or Pornhub, it feels just as good, right? It's your hand. Ain't no condom on your hand. So put a condom on. And you know what the thing is? I told my brain, I was like, well, when I put the condom on, I last longer so I can make her feel better. I was like, oh, I'm going to make the woman feel good so she'll want to come back for more. If it make me last longer, that's good. If it make me last longer. she gonna come back. She gonna want to do it again. Women like men that last longer. Make it into something that's positive. But men trick, they don't use that same type of mentality. I'm not finna have no baby crying at 2 o'clock in the morning if I ain't got the money to pay for it. I'm gonna be pissed off. You waking me up at 2:30 in the morning and I ain't got the money to pay for it? You gonna piss me the fuck off. I'm not trying to be pissed the fuck off at 2:30 in the morning. I wanna sleep. I got shit to do. I'm not trying to attach myself to some woman that I just smashed. But people don't think about that. Dudes don't think about that. We gotta do better as men. That's why I always talk to the men. I don't talk to the women. I'm not mad at no women. Yeah, they mad. Because for generations, y'all been beating them up, smacking them around, doing all kind of bullshit, being narcissistic. So I'm just going to talk to the men. I'm not finna fight no woman, but I'll fight a dude. He get mad at what I'm talking about. We could go in the backyard and catch a fade about it. That's what my uncles taught me when I was younger. You want to get mad? You want to act like you're a real man? Let's go in the backyard and figure out how tough you is. Men need to hold other men accountable. And we're not doing that. We're not holding other men accountable. We're not. You need to strap up. You need to be more conscious of what you're doing and where you put your thing.
No, I agree.
We need to do that. And we putting the weight on the women because it's like, oh, you let me smash you, so it's like now I can tell you to go kill this person that's growing inside of you. You know how hard of a fucking decision that is to kill someone that's growing inside of you? Let's not make the woman make that decision. Let's stop putting our women in these positions where they have to fucking make a decision to kill someone that's inside of them. Y'all don't think about it. Y'all don't have the empathy. Y'all don't think about the fact that they have to kill someone that's growing inside of them. How about let's not even get to that point and protect yourself from STDs and children?
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Ryder says, Preach is lucky to have a good OG because we still have OGs out there that are still living and having the street mentality and not teaching the youth to not make the same mistakes. So your thoughts on that, Coach D? And thank you so much for your passion. Preach.
Well, I do think in our community there are not enough men properly providing a model and teaching younger men how to conduct themselves, how to be men, how to be accountable. There's not enough of that in our community. And there should be men partaking in these types of conversations to provide a framework for Black men to improve themselves and to better themselves and to be better than the previous generation. So I do think that needs to be more of that, whether it's in church, in the community, or any domain as it relates to our community, whether it's you teaching, coaching sports, or little league, or what have you, teaching, or just in your family, or just in the neighborhood, just interacting with other kids and trying to understand where they're at in life, and maybe you can provide information that they can be useful or be corrective. Kids having a certain mindset that may be destructive. So I do think that there's more that is lacking, and there's more Black men I think that should engage in it. There's not enough. We could always use more and more men doing that. So, but though, as I do have to go, it's getting late. I do have to get up in the morning, and I do appreciate you for having me on. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm about to wind this down because it is 2:00 here. Again, that was Coach D. Thank you so much. And any final thoughts, Preach, on the 90-day rule? Do you believe, which I'm almost sure that you do, according to what you've shared thus far, that one should wait until marriage before engaging? And anything else you would like to leave before I end this broadcast. And thank you so much for the wisdom that you've shown at your age. And thank you to those that have taught you and shown you the way to go, at least this far.
Hey, look, for the young women out there, I know he's sexy. I know he's tall. And I know you've been drinking. I understand all that. I know you get into these parties. I understand that. You know, I know it's lit. I know that. But protect yourself, ladies. You know, protect yourself. You don't want no diseases. Young men, I know you don't want no disease. I know she's fine. I know all that. I understand that. I've been in those situations. But I still put on that Magnum. You know, I know it feel like a porn star movie. I know you feel like you living out your favorite porn. Put on that Magnum. If they say it don't feel the same. The good thing about it is when you put on that condom, it lasts longer. If it lasts longer, she feel better. It's gonna give you more ego when she get to that climax. I'm trying to tell you. You trying to act like, oh, it don't feel as good, but it lasts longer. She gonna get to that climax and you're gonna be protected and you're gonna be safe. You feel me? That's the good way to think about it. That's the way I thought about it. I put on this condom, I might not get there as fast, but she gonna feel better. It gives you more ego. You ever made a woman squirt? Put on a condom, bro. Put on a condom, buy a Magnum, buy a pack of Magnums, be safe, protect yourself. You don't want to be in no doctor's office. They're telling you got syphilis and gonorrhea and all, and the worst of it is herpes. You got bumps. Those bumps rise up and they bleed and all that. You don't want that, bro. Put on a condom. It lasts longer and make the experience more fun. I've been through it. I like to drink. Everybody know preach. I like to drink. I'm preach, bro. I'm preach on YouTube. Just put that condom on, bro. It's gonna last longer, and it's gonna feel better when you through with it. And in your mind, you know it's no chance of her getting pregnant. You being on the Maury show, you having to have this awkward conversation about, you know, who the daddy is. And if the condom break and you know that it broke, you won't be able to feel that it broke. I'm tired of people lying about that. Oh, the condom broke. No, you felt that it broke because you felt the change in the feeling from the wetness. We all know that. Like, we men, let's be real. You felt that it broke. Pull out. Buy multiple condoms so you can put another one on. There's been situations where a condom broke, I pulled out, and I put another one on. And if a girl tell you she allergic to latex, you can go get condoms that don't got no latex in it. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. Be smart. Young men. Absolutely. Especially young black men. Make your money. You're not going to be able to make your money if you got some young child trailing behind you talking about daddy, daddy. And I'm not saying it's not a beautiful thing to have a child. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying it's going to hold you back. Why put that in your path? Why put extra obstacles in your path when it's already hard enough to make it out here? Wear condoms.
Yes, it is.
Wear condoms.
Yes. And as you said, be safe. Well, Preach, thank you so much for coming up again, sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and what you see and what you hope for the future. And I wish you a peaceful remainder of your night and a grand rising in the morning. Everyone, please thank
you.
Preach that has been up here. I put his link in the chat so that you may visit and follow him for more gems that he has dropped.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you having me up here.
Oh, I appreciate you coming up, sir. And thank you so much again.
Have a good night, everybody.
You do the same, sir. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. That was panel member Preach, and then also Coach D. Jarrell, whose link should also be in the chat. Thank you to everyone that came out, that listened, those that are listening, those that offered comments and perspectives. Empress and Rita, Self-Care and Wellness, Young Arias, and MG707, who was in here earlier, and a bunch of comments. And I believe I put them all up. But Angie was in here. And everyone, Blackbird, that came by to support. And those who may be listening from the bushes. Hopefully, you've gleaned something from this conversation. Again, we will be having more. Miss Chabs was in here earlier as well. And hopefully, as I mentioned, you gleaned something positive from this conversation and the little break-off conversations that we have. They're all important. Again, I think it's a good thing to get perspectives from the younger generation and quote-unquote OGs. And while we've made progress, I still feel as though we still have a ways to go. But working together, actually having communication and dialogue, healthy dialogue, whether you're in agreement with some or maybe not any, even if you just think about some things that you've heard or do research, you may look at things in a different way. Also, Suna Kashi, who was in here earlier as well. Thank you. And I had someone in here all the way from India. Make sure that I recognize them again. Sanju. So everyone, again, thank you so much. And Ryder says, this was a very good live. Thank you, Joyce. Everyone stay blessed on God. You as well. Self-care, health, and wellness. I hope you are feeling much better. Thank you so much. Coming in from the beautiful Jamaica. And with that, as I mentioned to Mr. Preach, have a pleasant remainder of your night and a grand rising. Until next time, be safe, be well, and you know the rest. Be healthier. Until next time, bye-bye for now.